To the state of gaming in Massachusetts. It's been just 2 years since the state's first casino slots parlor opened in Plainville. 2 more are in development, and now the state may be looking to allow online gambling as well. At the moment, only 3 other states have online gaming, while 2 others are considering it. Joining me now is the chair of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission, Steve Crosby. Nice to see you, Steve.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
In the Globe, you seem to be giving your stamp of approval to online gambling. Is that a fair representation?
No, actually not.
No?
No. The Gaming Commission has been absolutely emphatic that there is a 2-step process here. One is, should online gaming be legal in Massachusetts? That's not up to us. That's up to the legislature, pure and simple. If it is legal, then we definitely have opinions on how it should be done, and we've made recommendations. But we're not lobbying in favor, nor are we against it. That's not a decision for us to make.
Well, I want you to know, I'm not on the Gaming Commission. I have opinions about how it should be done.
No kidding.
So,
could have fooled me.
Do you worry a guy or woman is sitting on their couch at 3 a.m., they've had 4 drinks, they're sitting in their underwear there, and they're gambling? I mean, is that not a... I mean, you work so hard. I've been to Plainville. I know you have that thing when you walk in that people can sign up for, gives them some advice about gambling problems, that sort of... What's
play
called?
Management tool, Play My Way.
Exactly. You're sitting at home, drunk, betting. I mean, is that not a nightmare of all nightmares?
You know, that's the kind of argument against online gaming that people also make against casinos. You know, that's an anecdote. There's no data out there.
But you have some control over the environment there, a lot of control. You have virtually none at home, do you?
Well, actually, you actually have potentially as much or more. You know who the player is. They can't get in unless you play. You can approve their age. You can put in the same tools. You can put in an electronic tool that says, do you want to keep playing? So there are a host of devices, just like the devices we're using in the bricks and mortar casinos, where you can encourage responsible gaming and where you can discourage problem gaming.
But if I'm heavily drinking in a casino, I assume at some point someone's going to come over to me. Are they not?
You're certainly not supposed to keep serving people.
So what happens? I'm sorry to belabor the point, but I'm drinking and drinking and drinking at home. I'm still good enough to be able to hit a button, and I'm losing money.
Well, I guess the question there is that the government's job to try to anticipate the fact that some guy might be drinking, you know.
Okay,
but again, as I said, that's not our issue.
I understand
that's the legislature's issue.
Let me take one other slide. I think good news for you. One study I read recently said that, it shocks me actually, maybe not you, that Plainville, the one casino that's open, is not hurting lottery sales. My assumption is they absolutely had to cannibalize it. So on one hand, it's good. On the other hand, what it means by definition is people are just losing more money in the state. They're losing more on top of more, yes?
Well, first of all, a lot of the money that they are losing, they were losing in other states. So we're bringing it back, and you're losing it in Massachusetts. But yes, the more gaming facilities you have, the more gaming types you have, the more gambling there will be. Yes, that's one of the things that the legislature will have to consider. There is this thing called the Starbucks effect. Every time you put down a Starbucks, people drink more coffee.
Let's talk about putting more down. Sometime maybe in 18, there'll be a casino in Springfield, and sometime maybe in
September of 18 and June of 19.
In Everett.
Everett, yeah.
So it was scaled back to some degree from the original proposal, and Springfield was approved by the Gaming Commission, correct?
It was scaled up in terms of volume. The dollars went from $800 million to $950 million. In
terms of investment?
Right. But they moved the hotel from a tower to a series of sideways
So
buildings.
If there was more investment, why were some leaders in that community so upset that they were reneging on a commitment?
I don't think very many were. I think in the final analysis, they figured out we're still going to get the hotel, we're still going to get the housing, we're still going to get everything we asked for.
And we go, in the last week or so, we've learned in Everett, scaling back 80% roughly of, they're proposing at least, you have to approve it, or high-end retail.
Right.
Does that worry you?
No. I mean, that's very much an internal issue. How do you best use your space? We don't have any idea whether it's high-end retail versus they're putting in more convention space. They think they can make more money and attract more people and accomplish more important services for their customers with convention space than retail.
And aren't you in a spot, though, when the casinos propose modifications like this, how could the commission possibly vote no? At that stage of the process, it seems they have you by the you-know-whats, don't they?
Well, actually, we have them by the you-know-whats.
You're not going to stop the process over something like that,
It depends. I mean, if, for example, they came to us and said, we're going to scale back by 20% this project. We've changed our minds. We can't afford it. We have the right and the ability to say, either no, you're not, or yes, you are, but you're going to pay a certain price or whatever. So
you can condition the approval
totally,
on some additional.
Absolutely.
Has that happened yet, or that hasn't happened yet? Has it, or has it?
Probably in minor things like traffic and so forth.
And one last thing about casinos before we quickly get to your testimony before the Marijuana Commission or whatever it's called in the legislature. East Windsor, at least contemplating, what, 11 miles away from Springfield? Is that what it is, 11
Something
miles?
like that, yeah.
Past the Connecticut border.
Right.
Does that worry you?
No, because...
Why not?
Because, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Remember, I sat here and everybody was worried about a few years ago there was going to be a casino in New Hampshire, and wasn't that going to hurt there's no casino in New Hampshire. It's not even legal, right?
So would you be worried if it did happen in East Windsor?
If it happens, it will probably have an effect on the revenue to that casino, which will depress revenues to the state to some extent. But such is life. That's America.
We only have 1 minute left. You've testified in front of the Gaming Commission. I've read a couple different things. My understanding is the core of your testimony,
the Marijuana Commission?
Marijuana, I'm sorry,
yeah.
was on the notion currently the treasurer, under the law that was passed on the ballot, appoints all the members of this Cannabis Control Commission. And am I not right? You were saying you think it is less susceptible, the process, to corruption if there are multiple appointers, as with the Gaming Commission. Is that what you said?
I made 2 points. One is Treasurer Deb Goldberg is not going to be susceptible to corruption. Don't misunderstand me. I know her. I've worked with her. But the question is, which model do you want? One where one official appoints all members of the commission, or where the governor, the attorney general, and the treasurer appoint the 5 commissioners, which we have, so that no one person is responsible. In our case, I think the legislature felt that protected the appointing authorities. It protected the governor, because nobody could go to the governor and say, hey, we want to talk to you about the license. Lean on Crosby. So the legislature has to decide which model is the one that makes sense for marijuana.
Before you go, 15 seconds left. As a citizen of the Commonwealth, does it trouble you that the legislature is thinking of changing in a fairly dramatic way what the voters approved on November 8th? You're a direct democracy kind of guy, aren't you?
Yeah, it does. A, it's not my job. I got a lot of things to worry about. But B, they worked for 20 years to get the Gaming Commission law right, and for them to think about how to get the Marijuana Commission law right, to stick with the basic legalization, but to think about tweaking it in a way that might be better in the interests of the people of the Commonwealth, that seems perfectly reasonable to me.
Steve Crosby, it's very nice to see you.
Nice to have me.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.